Hello and welcome to Around the Hoop, the Westwood Basketball Show. The third season. I'm your host, Mike Gay, and I'm joined again by Coach Clifford and Coach St. Martin.
How's it going, Mike?
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
I want to apologize to both yourselves and the viewers for this horrific thing on my lip. It's Movember, so we will share my Movember page so everybody can donate. So talk to us. It's been a while since you've sat in those chairs.
Right.
You're in the midst of kind of finalizing plans for tryouts that are going to happen just after Thanksgiving. So why don't we start with you, Steve?
Sure.
Where are you in the program?
Well, we're doing all our preseason work. I mean, we do a full year program. This is the preseason stuff. So at the beginning of September, we participated in a fall league that we run at Dana Barros. This year was at Dana Barros. And from there, we also have some open gym times for the kids to get in. And we did an AAU team this year for the high school kids to play together. And we also lifted 3 days a week at Pinnacle Performance with Jason Aguiar, who's a tremendous strength coach. Guy's fantastic. We've been using him for some years now. We finished that, and starting this Monday, we just started Hell Week, which is basically outside. And today we were just outside in the snowy ground to put him through a big workout. Coach Douglas was there today and put him through this Marine Buddy Challenge, where they have to drag in fireman's carry and carry weights and push-ups, and we combined that with a bunch of other things they had to do. It was really tough. So the kids have been fantastic.
That's great.
Really fantastic.
That's great. Coach Clifford, how about yourself in the girls program?
Yeah, we do some of the same things. Our program's not quite as robust, but they played in a fall league down at Mass Premier, which is just good to get them on the court together, as Coach said. And then anytime we can find a gym to have open gym, we try to get the kids in shooting, and I think they've done a pretty good job maximizing that those opportunities when they've come up. So, but we're definitely excited to get started.
And I'll tell you, to piggyback on that, one of the things, because gyms are so hard to come by, I mean, we kind of have paired together and split the gym in half when we can get it, and like the girls and boys will be able to get in there. It's just another way that we're trying to do as much stuff together as possible. So, give them as many opportunities, because the gym time is very scarce.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that we've talked about for many years.
Right.
Let's talk about some of the other things that you guys do in a joint manner. Let's talk about some of the programs that you've run for youth basketball. So since we last sat here, you've run the summer clinics.
Right.
You've had the preseason travel clinics that you've run. Talk about some of the successes you've had there.
Sure. I mean, we did the spring clinics first.
Yep.
And then we did the summer clinics, and we added in also in the summer we both did a middle school summer league that we ran at the high school, which was very successful. We followed that up in the fall again, and we did the fall clinics.
Yeah, we've added a clinic, bonus clinic the last 2 years for first to fourth graders.
Right.
Their seasons tend to get started a little bit later, so to give them a little basketball in November has been good. We've had a pretty good turnout for that.
Right.
So yeah, definitely a lot of work with the youth, but it's fun. We get our kids working them.
Yep.
It's great to just see them in the off season, see them interact with the younger kids. I think they have a lot of fun with it.
Oh, that's great. One other thing, this will air pretty quickly. But there's also a pop-up apparel opportunity for all of those families that want to buy some Westwood basketball gear.
Right.
I don't know if you have the details. We'll certainly put it on the telecast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the store closes the 19th for this round. It's been
Correct.
open for a couple weeks, but we just put stuff out there to see around town. Coach is wearing a hat from a previous store right now.
Previous store hat.
We got
The model. You
That's
can
it.
put that on your resume. Yeah, there you go.
But there's some stuff in there. We just encourage people to, represent Westwood basketball at all levels. It's the whole, all the programs, all the ages, and
Right.
it's been something we've done the last couple of years.
No, that's great. Talk a little bit about some of the successes you had last year. And again, you didn't achieve the ultimate goals, but you had certainly successes on both sides. And then, how do you take what you've done in a previous year and start looking ahead, start building? Do you build on successes, or do you, is every year a new year and you're starting from scratch?
I mean, for us, first of all, you can kind of see where your culture is by your returners as captains. So, for example, we had a captains meeting, and just hearing the things that they talked about that they liked and the things that they felt that needed to change and they wanted to make better, it was really important because the things that they focused in on were the culture of the team and how much it felt like a family. And they really they really felt that the camaraderie they shared between each other was really good and welcoming for everybody. So there was no cliques, there was none of those things. And that's the first thing to me which is so important. And we've spoken about this a million times. I mean, everybody wants to win. You want to win as much as you can. I mean, who doesn't, right? How do you get there to me, is very important. So that piece right there is the first thing you start with, is do you have the right culture for folks to want to participate in something and be a part of that. Then you can take a look at the X and O pieces. We're adjusting a lot of the things in practice that we do. Coach and I spoke a lot during the season, in the off season, things that we both wanted to change. We've taken ideas from each other. I know I've taken some ideas from her about pre-game things that we want to look at doing. And then you talk to other coaches as well, and you talk to college coaches and some professional coaches. You just try to get as much information as you can and figure out what sticks and what doesn't. The issue you run into is it's not like at the college ranks or the professional ranks where you basically know who's going to be on your team. I mean, we have to have tryouts, so you just don't know 100% who's making the team yet. So you can't start to get into translating certain specific things or roles, or you have a general concept of what you'd like to do. And then you have to tailor that based upon who makes your team. So for me, I have like a bunch of ideas and plays and certain stuff that I'm looking at, and then what we'll do is, once the team's made, going through that first 3 to 5 practices and into your first scrimmages, you can start to tailor certain things and then install the stuff that you want to install that's going to fit for your team. That's just how I kind of observe it.
No, great insight, Coach.
Yeah, I think just to echo that, you see, college coaches that'll like recruit to their style. We don't have that luxury. We have to, fit our style to our team every year.
Right.
So I think there are definitely some things that stay in place. You don't want to start completely from scratch every season. You're not going to be able to, climb the ladder doing that. But like Coach said, you don't have a final roster yet, so there's a lot of things that have to wait. But a lot of the off-the-court stuff, the culture stuff, you can sort of work on that.
Yeah.
I got some great feedback from my captains too, kind of looking into this year to build on some of our cultural successes from last year. But it's the same thing. You just have to, keep your options open, be really flexible, and figure out pretty quickly, what's going to be best for that group.
Yeah. One of the things we've talked about in this episode and previous years is you're upon the most exciting part of the year, which is kicking off the season, and you're also on the doorstep of the most challenging part of your year, which is selecting your team. So as you go into that, expectations of how many boys in your case, girls in your case are coming out. Talk about some of the coaches that you have in place coming into the season. Any changes there?
Yes, we do. Coach Douglas made a decision he wanted to get a lot more experience at the varsity level, and asked if he could become an assistant up there and volunteer his time that way and give up the JV position. So with that being done, I went to the freshman coach and said, you've been here, would you like to move up or stay where you are? He decided to move up to JV level, so we hired a new freshman coach. We hired Matt Scully, who is a special ed teacher at the high school. So we're excited about that piece. So that's changed. And then we've had a couple other folks that have asked to volunteer some time when they can, and they work a regular 9 to 5 or sometimes later with overtime, so they can't come to everything, but they like to go do some scouting and they like to come to some of the later practices. So we've been able to do that too, and we've had the luxury of doing that, to be able to put together a better staff. We've had a bunch of staff meetings and kind of gone over some structural things we wanted to change. Having Coach Douglas now at the varsity allows me to do a couple of things that I'd like to do as far as offense and defense goes. So we have a game plan going in where not everybody's trying to watch every single thing. We can focus in on pinpoint stuff, and it makes it easier. So it's really exciting about that.
Before we move over onto the girls' side, any expectations on the size of the pool of boys that are going to try out? A big year, normal year.
As far as the numbers go,
yeah.
The numbers are up there. I mean, we average pretty good numbers. I think we're somewhere in the 50s right now for all the levels.
Yeah.
we're not going to keep. We're probably going to keep 12 in the varsity, and that's what the target number is this year, and with the hopes of calling some players up through the JV ranks throughout the season for various tournaments and at the end of the year, of course. But but we have a big pool to choose from, and guys are working really hard. So.
Yeah, their job is to make your job really hard.
And they do. I mean, Mike, we were just outside with 20-something kids in the snow. You know what I mean? And going through the Hell Week stuff, and we go through and say, like, listen, this doesn't guarantee you anything. I mean, we go through the whole thing, but players are working extremely hard, and then there's players in the fall seasons that are doing their thing, and when their season's over, they come to try out. So, and we've had many of them as captains. Last year Reed Wilson was a captain, who was also a football captain. So we've had a bunch of players that play multiple sports and do multiple things, and some that just play basketball. So we're excited. I mean, tryouts, it's a tough time. It's never an easy thing for you, because you got kids who are working extremely hard, but just there's unfortunately there's only so much room, and that's kind of like a mirror image of what life is like. You're not going to get into your favorite college, or you get your favorite job, or you have to kind of battle through things. But it is tough as a coach. I mean, Coach and I talk about all the time. It's not a pleasant thing to go through when you have to cut people. Not at all.
Yeah, understood. So, Coach Clifford, first off, any changes to your coaching staff coming into this year?
Yes, we have a new but former face. Ronnie Mcneil is going to be back as our freshman coach this year. He's with us, I think, the 2014-2015 season. Yeah. So he's back. We're excited. That was nice to. Rob Flynn stepped away after giving us, I think, 4 years of just good contributions to our program, and I was very happy when Ronnie was interested in coming back. Other than that, the staff's in place. Our numbers this year are up from the last few. We're in the mid-40s. I think we'll be at 44, it looks like right now. So we'll be making some cuts in our program for the first time in probably 3 or 4 years. And then, like Coach said and you said, it's just there's a lot of mixed anticipation.
Right.
You're really excited to get back in the gym. I think I'm probably most excited for Wednesday. So when you kind of have your first practice and have your team, but that Tuesday and Wednesday are having conversations with kids and just having to deliver news that they just don't want.
Right.
And it's hard. It's hard for everybody, and but it's it's part of the job. So there's a little bit of a bittersweet approach, but I think mostly just excited to get started.
That sounds great. I'm going to have you introduce your captains in a second. But before we do that, talk a little bit about the basketball kickoff night, which I believe is the 1st of December.
Right.
What are the details?
Yeah, it's the 1st of December from 7 to 8.
7 to 8. At
the high school. And it's just a celebration of basketball in the community. So, we've reached out to all the travel teams, the in-town teams, CYO teams, anybody who's interested or loves the sport. We just want to bring people together. It's a fun time where we have prizes and different challenges based upon the grades of kids. There's a ticket that you purchase. All those proceeds will go to the program, and then we just have a really fun time. We're doing this together with both of our teams again, so we'll have both boys and girls teams, and again, we'll call players out of the stands to do some different drills or some fun challenges with prizes there. So it's exciting.
Lots of dunking, lots of excitement. Right? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So I know 3 of your 4 captains are going to be here tonight, potentially 4.
Yep.
And then next week over the next couple weeks, we'll get the girls captains in.
Yeah.
Why don't you introduce who the captains are, and then you can do the same.
Sure.
And we can wrap this segment.
Yeah, sure. So we have 4 senior captains this year. They've all been on the team since full-time since they were sophomores. Alex Finn and Fiona McGowan. I will give them a special shout out. They signed their national letters of intent for lacrosse today. Alex will be going to Boston College to play next year. Fiona's going to UMass Amherst. So we're really excited for them. And Caitlin Curtin and Riley Murray are our other 2 captains. I think the 4 of them will work really well together, and they're definitely excited to get started.
That's great. And how about yourself?
We have 2 seniors and 2 juniors. The 2 juniors are Jack Turgeon and Pat Riley, and the 2 seniors are Owen Gaffney and Joey Noon. So we're excited for them too.
No, that's great. Well, again, coaches, thank you so much for being here. We will do this as often as we can. We'll try to do it every week, maybe every other in certain points of the season. Anything else you want to share looking into the season? Any kind of, I know the holiday tournament, the Riley Classic. I mean, there's things that we'll talk about as the season goes on. But any parting shots?
I'd go off script. We have a handful of former players who have been on the show in the last couple of years, now playing in the college ranks.
Awesome.
Most recently, Fletcher just graduated last year. She's at LaSalle College. They started their season, I think, last weekend. from the class of 2017. Christina Bonfilio's at Babson. They open up tomorrow night. Allie Morin is getting her first collegiate start tonight for Trinity College. And then the year before that, Kaylin Harrington's at Tufts. Olivia Ware's at Bowdoin. Both of them made it to the Elite Eight. Olivia's team, Bowdoin, made it to the national championship last year. So it's really exciting to follow their seasons too, and looking forward to scouring some box scores and watching a lot of live streams in the next couple months.
And I'm sure there'll be lots of texts going back and forth with your former players. And I
All
know
positive.
I won't put you on the spot for your former players, but I know a bunch of them are also playing.
Yeah,
at the college
Will
level.
Jessup is hurt right now, but they open up their season this weekend in the tournament. But he's been out for a bit with an injury, so hopefully a couple of weeks he'll be back. And then the big thing I wanted to say is just we try to do as much as we can to get the community involved. We really like people to between the show and the different clinics and all the stuff, the tournaments we're running. So the more people we have, the Westwood Basketball Social. So we try to get as much going on around the sport as possible and just try to bring some enjoyment, excitement to it. So. And we appreciate all the things you do behind the scenes and doing the show and every support you've given us for many years. So.
Well, I'll tell you, if the success that you have this season is any correlation with the amount of effort that you put in and the love of basketball and in particular basketball in Westwood, you're going to have some great seasons. So,
Appreciate
coaches, good luck. We'll see you after your tryouts and your teams are set.
Sounds good.
So we'll be right back. Go this way. We'll be right back to talk with the captains on the boys' side, get to know them a little bit better. Welcome back to Around the Hoop. I'm joined now by 3 of the 4 boys captains. So, gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to Around the Hoop.
Nice to be here.
So, why don't we'll go around the horn. You can introduce yourself, a little bit of background, something that the public wants to know. We'll start with you, Joey.
All right, so I'm Joey. I'm a senior. This will be my 3rd year on the team. I'm a captain. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, well, I've got some good stories that I'll share with everybody a little bit later. Go ahead, Patrick.
I'm Pat. I'm a junior, and this is my 2nd year on the team.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I'm Jack, and this is my 3rd year on the team, and I'm a junior. And fun fact is I have 4 cats.
Jack with 4 cats.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. How about the 2 of you? Any cats? Any dogs?
One dog. Yeah.
That's it.
We get
cats,
we get some dog
though.
people
It's
and some
okay.
cat people.
I'm cat and dogs.
There you go. So 2 out of the 3 of you did not play a fall sport, and then Jack, you're still involved with the cross country program, having a very successful season in the state tournament. Talk about what you've been doing to get yourself ready. The two of you. What have you been doing to get yourself ready for the season? We'll start with you, Jack.
Yeah, so going back to the spring, we've been in a lot of leagues. Not only that, we do conditioning and lifting after school usually. And as far as individually, I've been working for me on my ball handling especially. Just trying to get my individual game better, but also trying to have that leadership role where I get my teammates better as well. So it's definitely all year for me. It's definitely. Coaches do a great job of making sure we have the opportunities to get better. Yeah.
Awesome. Pat?
Yeah, so same thing, strength and conditioning after school, work out at a place in Norwood with a guy named Jason. He's a great guy. And then we also, over the fall, we played AAU for NESB, which was great because we had the guys playing together and working up chemistry before the season actually started. So when the season comes, we'll be ready to rock and roll right away.
That's great.
Yeah.
And Jack, I know again, like I said, you're in a fall sport with cross country, but you participated in some of those other elements, before the fall season, correct?
Yeah, I played in the summer league, and during the fall too, I've been playing AAU basketball, which has been good, and I've also been playing by myself and with my shooting coach to get prepared for the season.
I won't tell Coach Lyons that you've been doing anything.
Yeah.
Just between us.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Pat, I also understand that you traveled to Germany over the summer.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that experience. I know you've had a couple of times Westwood boys have done this, and it's been a phenomenal experience.
Oh yeah, it was great. I went with James McGowan, who's a sophomore now, and we spent 5 days in Germany and 5 days in Spain, and it was just a great experience, great basketball, great living with my host family. Everything was awesome. It was really eye-opening.
That's great. How was the quality of basketball?
It was good. Germany was definitely better teams than Spain. We played professional teams, but their youth level teams. So we played against good competition there. And then Spain, we played against teams from all over the city of Alicante.
Okay.
And they were not as good, but it was still definitely fun playing there.
That's great. And how about the cultural aspect? Did you get to see different parts of the world and
Yes.
experience different cultures and food?
Oh yeah, so in Germany, Coach made sure I tried a doner, which is like a type of like sandwich or something. And it was pretty good. And then we saw like Dresden, Berlin, and Germany, and then Spain. We went. Alicante is more of like a beach city, so it's like a nice resort, which was awesome to end the trip there.
That's great.
Yeah.
Next, let's talk a little bit about what it means to be a captain. First time for all of you. Again, you've had the varsity experience, but first time as a captain. What does it mean to be a captain, and then what lessons did you take from previous captains to really build that foundation? Jack, we'll start with you in the back.
It means a lot to be a captain, to be able to lead the team. It's also a big responsibility because we have to lead the team. We have to lead by example, and we have to make sure that we're working hard during practices and getting on everyone and making sure everyone's giving their best effort during the practice. And we have to make sure that we, Pat said this during our meeting yesterday, that we don't have too high of highs and not too low lows, because we need to stay humble during our season so that we can have a good season.
That's great. Pat?
Yeah, so definitely means a lot. And one of the things I've taken away from captains definitely last year was calming people down in games. Like if say there's like a big crowd or it's like a clutch situation, just calming them down, make sure they know like they can only like just give your best effort. That's the only thing you can do, and that's pretty much like biggest lesson you can teach. So
Cool.
Yeah.
And Joey?
Yeah, it's definitely an honor, like learning from previous captains. I remember when I was a freshman, learning from Devontae and all those guys, and now I'm a captain, so it's kind of crazy how fast time goes. But yeah, it's definitely an honor, and like these guys were saying, just kind of learning from previous years of how to operate in practice, and not just in season but also off season, making sure guys are showing up and giving their all. So yeah, it's definitely a big responsibility, but it's exciting. So.
How do ultimately the four of you, the four captains with Owen Gaffney being the fourth, how do you communicate, and how do you make sure that the four of you are on the same page to have a consistent message?
Yeah, so we have a group text, obviously, and we meet with Coach every once in a while to make sure we're all on the same page. Any changes we want to make, what we like, what we don't like. Yeah, we're always in contact with each other, and we have a good environment surrounding that. So. Yeah.
Got it. No, that's great. What kind of goals, individual or team goals, do the four of you as captains or individually, how do you set goals, Pat?
Well, obviously with the TVL, first goal is always to win the league, so it starts with that gameplay. And then as the season progresses, definitely gets into the tournament. So goals we have for this year, I have to say probably like win the TVL, see where it goes from there, and then get into playoffs. Then individually, just like, I don't really know, just become a good leader on and off the court, I guess.
That's great. Anything to add, Jack?
I agree with what he said. To just learn to become a good leader and lead the team by example. And also defense should be a big emphasis this year with our team, especially with our height, since we usually have had more height in the past. And I think that will be a key to our success this year.
You got to run teams off the court.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That press will be big.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
Yeah, just win the TVL, obviously. Also, just enjoy basketball again. Don't overthink anything. Just play your game. Just have fun.
So some pretty cool things up, in the near future. You finish a few more days of I guess, Hell Week extended right before Thanksgiving. Then you've got the tryouts. You've got a pretty short turnaround before your first game. Although Thanksgiving earlier this year is a good thing, gives you a little bit more prep time. And then an exciting event, which is the basketball kickoff on the 1st of December. So. We've got some exciting things ahead, but again, just stay in the moment. Watching your career, having you on teams that I coached way back in the day, it's been awesome to see your growth, and then the two of you as well, through youth basketball all the way through. So this is my favorite part of it, is seeing the likes of you sit here. So congratulations on being captains.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the leadership you've shown and the leadership that lies ahead.
Thanks.
So,
Thank you very
good
much.
luck, boys.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So that wraps up episode 1 of season 3. We're getting very old. And I just want to thank you at home. We are still open for sponsors. for this coming season. So if you're interested in becoming a sponsor, I think you probably know where to find me, but reach out to me directly or through Westwood Media Center. I want to thank Westwood Media Center. They put up with guys like myself coming in here to film shows like this. Melinda Garfield, the executive director, Maggie McGinnis, who handles all of the community programming, and Connor Lynch, who does all of the government programming. They're a phenomenal staff. If you haven't been down to 15 Purwall Street, you're missing out. Please try to get down here and see a great treasure for Westwood. So again, I want to thank everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Around the Hoop, the Westwood basketball program.